Welcome everyone. Very glad to have you all here. We are just about to get started. So welcome everyone to the release party of Project Odessey. Looks like my audio is going through. Hopefully it is. Hopefully you can all hear me just fine. So compared to some of the marathon-ish streams I've had in the past, today's probably not going to be all that long, but we are going to do a good run-through of WorldKey as it existed in 1982, which of course makes sense for the scope of the project. So welcome to everyone. Cool. Well, glad that Twitter is getting the word out a little bit. Very glad to have you here. Yeah, so just to go into a little bit of background, I will be putting actual like video and stuff on pretty soon, but I'll just be talking for the first little bit. Looks like I'm peaking a little on the audio. I'm just going to put that down a little bit. Yeah, so a couple weeks back, pretty much just got some video files dropped into my lap out of nowhere, totally anonymously, have no idea where they came from, but they were original source video from the Laserdiscs. Also have a few other ones that Mr. Parks, who I believe is in the chat, will be taking some advantage of, so that's kind of cool. A couple others for Journey into Imagination as well, so it was very, very nice to be able to have this. So, when I saw the original source video for the 1982 WorldKey, I, of course, knew I needed to build it. So I thought it was going to take, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 hours to build some interface around these various parts. I was off probably by about 100 hours or so. It ended up being actually a major, major programming effort to really get all those little bits together. But I'm hoping that it turned out pretty okay, and I knew that ultimately the WorldKey interface was so important that I needed to do some due diligence. So hopefully I have done so. So let's talk a little bit about this interface. Again, we'll be going into the actual project in just a little bit, but let's talk about the history of WorldKey a little bit. So WorldKey was really designed to be inside of Earth Station. Now, I'm going to try something that may fail miserably, but we're going to find out. So I'm going to hop into Blender for a little bit, and actually that is not arranged all that great on the screen, so let me see if I can fix that a little bit. So just give me 1 second to reshape this. All right, we're going to hop into Blender a little bit just so we can have WorldKey on the background. Obviously, this is perhaps not the fully rendered version. This is just what I use when I actually am creating this thing. But so in Earth Station, this is the exit area for Spaceship Earth. So I'm just going to walk around a little bit, and I get to fly around. So that's pretty convenient. Where we are looking directly in front in the center part of the screen, this is the exit area for Spaceship Earth. So after you go on that ride, which is of course pretty much what everyone did, hence why I had mega lines when the park first opened. And you would exit out of Spaceship Earth after really hearing about the history of communication, and it would dump you into Earth Station. Earth Station being really the communication hub of Future World, of really all of Epcot as of opening day in 1982. So it would dump you out right here. Great decision by the Imagineers. On the screens that you should be able to see, the 6 screens with the kind of center logo one, that is where there was a 4.5-minute video that I do have included in the main FuturePort project that just gave a little bit of an animated view of all of the different pavilions, both in World Showcase and also in Future World, just to really give you an idea of what is going on in the rest of the park. Amazingly enough, these 2 desks, desk 1, apparently it's mirrored, but the mirror should be on. It's not currently on. There would be another one under the guest relations sign over there. That was the entirety of the actual live guest relations. That's because so much of the actual heavy lifting was done by our friends, the WorldKey Information System, powered by Bell Labs. So this, in 1982, was really the main visual directory for the entirety of the park. Man, that had to do some really heavy lifting because those were not big desks that we saw behind us to the left and the right. So inside of these WorldKey interfaces, and if you think about it, these are some of the very first touchscreen interfaces that anyone has ever used. We're talking almost 40 years ago. Touchscreens were brand new as of this point. So this is cutting edge technology. Part of why it was so interesting, and part of why I really wanted to do my due diligence in building this recreation, is that apart from just being a vital piece of Epcot history and Future World history, and something I really need for the scope of the project itself, what this really is honestly one of the first UI UX experiences that the public would have ever used. Some of which is going to be extremely obvious actually after you actually navigate through the Project Odyssey itself. So there are a lot of items that just really wouldn't fly today. There are a lot of introductions that end up going on way, way too long, whereas we're used to just snap really ripping through these things on your smartphone. for example. So there are some clunky elements, there are some weird elements, but it is a fascinating time capsule on where UI, UX, and also Disney was as of the early 80s. So it really is a fascinating type of approach. So we have this, and what's interesting, of course, is that this must have been worked on in the late 1981, early 1982 period, where they didn't have anything to show. You couldn't just walk over to Spaceship Earth and start taking some photographs. So what we have here is concept art. We have a lot of concept art. We don't have video. We have animations, we have still photos, and yeah, it's kind of crazy to see because they had nothing that was actually built as of that point. So as we actually get into the interface itself, we are going to see that some of it is kind of not accurate. There are a couple of different errors that you're going to see because it's not like they could just go in and easily update this WorldKey interface. That's really where Project Odessey comes from. It's because it looks like they accidentally misspelled Odessey restaurant on one of the maps. C'est la vie, only a few million people would have seen it. No big deal. One other thing I'll point out is that on one of the maps, the location of the restaurants in Communicore, not exactly accurate. So a few little things like that, but overall, it is a fascinating approach, a really fascinating, like I said, time capsule, and I'm hoping that you all very much enjoy it. Now, hopefully I'll be able to see any of the comments that you guys are making, so feel free to chat as we do the big leap and I try to actually get inside of the project. So, hoping this is going to work. We are about to find out. Actually, let me just put the audio back up. Otherwise, you aren't going to be able to hear anything. So let's dive in. Actually, one sec. There we go. That's just the standard feature port intro. Let me know. Hopefully you're able to hear the audio for this. I will pause at the title screen for just a few moments, just making sure that everything is transmitting. All right. That's probably pretty good. On the intro screen, there actually isn't any audio, so that is fine. So welcome to WorldKey. See, I wasn't lying. It's real. I have spent a whole lot of time with this video. The video itself is just about 28 minutes long. Obviously, when you actually go through the interface, you're clicking around, you move around. It can take a little bit longer than that. So not really sure how long our stream today is going to go, but yeah, we'll go through a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to be quiet for the next little bit. And one other thing I do want to say, though, is I have done my best to squash bugs around this. There is still very much a likelihood there are going to be little issues here and there. Hopefully nothing too critical, otherwise the release will be delayed a little bit. Assuming everything goes great, I already have it uploaded to my Google Drive. I'm going to be pasting the link to all of the socials, at least the ones that I'm a part of, immediately after the session today. So if you have a PC, right now it is PC only. If you have a PC, you can download it and give it a whirl. Because of the actual video size that, long story short, I didn't get a chance to make smaller, it is about a gig, which is larger than I very much would have liked, but it shouldn't have anywhere near the requirements that absolutely the full model had, because there's no 3D work inside of this. All right, I'm going to be quiet now. Let's hang out with Bit.
Hi, I'm Bit, the real brains behind Epcot Center Information. Now, if you'd like to know how I can be of service, just touch here. But if you've been here before, let's just skip the introductions and you can get started by touching here.
At least on mine, it looks like the video may be a little choppy. It's definitely not like that in the actual interface itself. Not sure if that's just from the stream or what. There's not a kind of all that much fluid video and animation. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, cool. Sorry, I think I might have dropped off there for a little bit, but hopefully everything is good right now. So yeah. Now, one thing I just want to talk about is that originally, this would have been part of two video discs, one for English and one for Spanish. I only really have the English disc, so I just cut out a little bit at the beginning there. And it, yeah, so, it's going to be the English only. I just cut out a little bit of a menu where you could choose your language. Unfortunately, that's all I really have access to. Yeah, it looks like some of the frame rates may not be going all that great over stream. I can assure you that it is going just fine in the actual video. So we are just going to hop into the main menu at this point.
I'll be down here if you need any extra help, or if you want to end the show. Oh, I also have information about other Walt Disney World locations. So, when you're ready, just touch me here. I'm not ticklish, honest. Okay, it's
not
your
sure
move.
why the video is so choppy at this point. That's really unfortunate. I'm not sure why Streamlabs is having such difficulty with this. It's kind of frustrating. But if nothing else, I can still give a run through, and then maybe we just cut the stream a little bit shorter than it would have been otherwise, so I can get you all to download so you can actually play around with yourself. So, a couple things I want to talk about here that I think are going to be really, really important. So, one of the really big issues around the UI is that, yeah, it can be a little tricky to do things like even exit. So what I have what I've done is that if you actually go kind of in the upper right-hand corner, I don't know if you'll really be able to see my mouse cursor, but if you basically look in the upper right-hand corner, right where the video meets that the black bar on the right-hand side, I've basically made a little hidden click spot that allows you to exit. So if for whatever reason it does bug out and you have an issue, of course you can always Control-Alt-Delete to just kill the session. But you can also click on that little exit in the upper right-hand corner. The other option is you can click on Bit, the little square in the bottom center-ish of the screen. And you can click on Bit, and he will take you to an exit menu itself. So let's just do a tour around the different components. Upper left-hand corner, the red button. This is going to take you, as you see with the 5 different icons, to a little sub-menu. And this sub-menu is going to let you review dining, attractions, shopping, live entertainment, and also some guest services. Maybe we can take a hop in that in just a little bit. Yeah, right now the video itself isn't moving, nor is there audio, just while I do a bit of a demo. Upper right-hand corner, the green icon is how you get directly into the map interface. Now, while FuturePort 82 itself is really only intended to be a future world recreation, I really had no choice in Odessey, so there are all of the World Showcase items as well. Of course, just without Norway or Morocco, because those weren't built yet. Lower left-hand corner, one of the more interesting approaches, which is a video tour of both Future World and World Showcase, where you can, again, just look through all the different pavilions and everything that you really need within that. But one thing I'm going to start with, and thank you to moderator and tester extraordinaire Jason Dupree, wave hi Jason. He came up with something like 120 different descriptions for rides, entertainment, shops, restaurants, everything inside of Epcot. So I'm actually going to start by clicking on the ABC in the lower right-hand corner.
From aspirin to zinnias, just like a video directory. So first, choose the alphabetic letter, then use the arrows to look through the listings till you find a specific word you want. Touch it, and I'll print out the information. Say, you can always come back to the alphabet page when you touch here, and I'll be standing by to give you any extra help or end the show if you touch me right here. Okay, choose your letter.
So once we go through that, we are taken to this basically ABC directory. So from here, if I go into, say, A, one thing I do want to point out, just to show that I've done my due diligence, that not all of the errors in this are just me screwing up. You should see the page 101 that actually did overlap the button in a slightly different spot, but that was overlapping. Actually, it was in the original implementation. So, page 1 of 1. But from here, if I go into American Adventure, there we have it. Gives you the location, gives you a little bit of a spiel. Some of the spacings on these may be a little goofed up, but I can always fix that in the future if I need to. Then I can click back on that ABC button towards the bottom left center, and we are back. I go into R, we go to Rose and Crown. I go into A again, we have aspirin, exactly as Bit suggested. And then when I do want to go back, I just go back to the main menu button, and we are back. Now from here, again, I think from here the videos are going to be a little choppy. I was definitely expecting YouTube and Streamlabs and everything to behave a little bit better, but that's fine. I'm going to try to go
In
into
Epcot
the
Center,
red menu
my
in the upper
information
left-hand
includes
corner.
attractions, dining, shopping, live entertainment, and guest services. So, just choose one.
Yep, the only expense is in my sanity. Luckily, I have a little bit of that to spare at this point. So, in the red menu, from here, why don't we just hop into, let's head
Before
into
we
attractions.
start, let me explain that Epcot Center is divided into two areas, Future World and World Showcase. Okay, to find out what's available in Future World, touch here, or here for World Showcase. And you can keep touching the arrows to explore all that's available in that area. Then if you see something that you'd like to know more about, touch here to see a film, or here to see a map. I'm going to keep quiet now and leave you alone to explore at your own pace. If you need any more help or get ready to end the show, just lay a finger on me. I'll be right down here.
All right, from here, you can go left for World Showcase, right for Future World. We're going to go right into Future World. And then it's going to take you for each of the pavilions that you can just flick through one by one by one. So let's say I want to go to World of Motion for some reason. And in World of Motion, we of course have a couple of our different options. In the bottom left center, we have the overall video that will be about a 30 to 40 second overview video of both the attraction and Trans Center, of course unique for each of the different pavilions. But we can also go into our map icon. You may be able to realize this is the same green grid icon we saw from the main menu.
The transportation story in the World of Motion shows that it's fun to be free.
On the map.
For an overall tour of the pavilion, touch
Also
here.
related to Jason's fantastic work, if I click, although watch me have not included it. Okay, I did. You can actually click on to have each of those. A little blurb about them. When I go back, hey, it's working. A little paranoid every time I click everything, but knock on wood, it's working just fine. So yeah, you can go through each and every one of them. And when you're done, takes you back to the menu. Let's work through World Showcase, that other part of Epcot that apparently exists. You see, Eric, my first trip wasn't until 1989, so even then it would have been the newer version of WorldKey that was installed in 1984, which is kind of interesting. So this version actually only ended up lasting about 2 years. I think partially because it is all concept art. There are some inaccuracies within. So my guess is they were just kind of like, yeah, you know what? Let's do a new version that actually has video, that actually has photos, that's a little bit more up to date. So last, this one, I really only was seen by, a few million people as opposed to tens of millions of people, like the second version, that lasts, 10 years. What I find really interesting, Foxy, is getting used to the fact that, I know just because I've been dealing with Future World so long that Living Seas didn't open until 86. It's much harder to realize, hey, we have no Norway or no Morocco, so it just goes from Japan directly over to America. That's pretty crazy. Even China is pretty inaccurate. So it has the palace, not the palace, the Temple of, I can never remember what it's called. I've been there in Beijing, can't remember what it's called. But it doesn't have, on the map at least, either the restaurants, Nine Dragons, because that wasn't open yet. Even the store wasn't open on opening day, so maybe they added that in later, but it sure as heck wasn't in here. Alright, so we can just keep on flicking. One thing I'm definitely going to recommend as you play around is try to be gentle with this. There are a lot of different animations that hide and show buttons at different points. If you're just kind of like rapidly clicking around, there's a decent chance it's going to go a little bit pear-shaped for you. So I would pretty much just wait until like the background freezes. At that point, you can definitely click through really whatever you want, but if you try to do it mid-animation, you might just have a bad time. Now here's one of the kind of funky things that I didn't find any way to immediately bring you back to the main menu from this kind of central red shopping menu. So we may have to go a little bit walkabout. I'm just going to click
Touch
on
here
bit
to
here in
end
the
the
bottom
show.
to take me to
Or
the
to
separate
start the show
bit
again,
menu.
touch here. Now, if you'd like to know a little more about how the Bell system operates services like this one, touch here. And touch here if you'd like to talk to a WorldKey attendant. And I can tell you about other Walt Disney World areas, so just go on and choose one.
Yeah, Eric, soft opening must have been really amazing back then, just to see everything. This is one of the WorldKey interface, Odyssey, has really been something that I think drove a lot of this home to me about just how kind of sparse a lot of it was. Obviously, there's a lot of great stuff there on opening day, but if you think, we don't have Journey to Imagination, we don't have Horizons, we don't have Living Seas, we don't have Morocco and Denmark. Like, that is a lot of stuff. We don't have Future Choice Theater. There's so much stuff that actually wasn't there at that point, which is pretty wild. Let's go back to the main menu. All right, we're just going to start on over.
Hi, I'm
just
Bit,
let Bit get through
the
here.
real brains
And if
behind
there's any
Epcot
questions,
Center
happy
information.
to answer. Again, really
Now,
sorry
if you'd
about
like
the
to know
frame
how
rate.
I can be of
Thought
service,
that after the original one, real
just
version
touch here.
worked pretty much fine.
But if
that
you've
this
been here
would be a
before,
little bit
let's
better
just
off.
skip the introductions,
Unfortunately,
and you can
not
get
so
started
much.
by touching here.
All right, a couple other things I do want to walk through here. All right, we're going to get back to the main menu. I want to go into the map.
I'll be down here if you need any extra help, or if you want to end the show. Oh, I also have information about other Walt Disney World locations. So, when you're ready, just touch me here. I'm not ticklish, honest. Okay, it's your move.
Thanks, Bit. All right, let's go into the map in the upper right-hand corner.
Epcot Center is divided into two major theme areas. Future World reflects the community of tomorrow. World Showcase presents a community of nations. To see what's available in either area, just touch the one that interests you. Go on, try it.
And of course, I need to show the namesake for Project
Future
Odyssey.
World explores the challenges, choices, and dreams of tomorrow. Pavilions include Spaceship Earth, Communicore, Universe of Energy, World of Motion, Odyssey Restaurant, Journey into Imagination, and the Land. So, to see what's available inside, just touch one. Touch here to go back to your last selection. For extra help, or to end the show, touch me. Okay, the choice is yours.
Let's go through two of my favorite little quote-unquote bugs that exist inside of the original disc. Of course, we have Odessey Restaurant up at the top of the screen. It is pretty small, it is a little bit blurry, so I'm sure not a lot of people noticed, but since I had ample time to hang out with Bit inside of this video, I certainly noticed. So that's one of the cute little things. The other one, and this is going to be a bit of a quiz for anyone in chat.
Communicore is at the center of Future World, where you can learn and have fun with a variety of hands-on activities. Communicore has a dining and shopping. For more details on what's inside, touch one.
100 stream points, whatever that is. Can anyone see the issue on this map? Think of it like extra credit. This is also pretty indicative of what a lot of the maps are really going to look like. And of course, if I want to click through, everyone in my Discord on our modeling one, you know this has already been spoiled, but yeah, curious whether anyone else can really see the big issue here. It's a minor one, but still pretty funny to just show. There is a lot that maybe could be updated in this. Something isn't missing, something is switched, is our big tip. It helps if you live every day of your life in October 1982 or September 82 like I do. I know, Spencer, it's hard not to jump in. Look at the restaurants. Here, let's see if I can give you this as a hint. I'm going to click on this restaurant. This is not a bug. So I don't think anyone really paid attention to the fact that Sunrise Terrace and Stargate Restaurant are actually switched. which is pretty funny. So yeah, another one of those things that not quite accurate, but at least the little click over, little blurb I have included is correct. So just because of the frame rate stuff, that's probably about all I will walk through today. There are definitely a few other little bits and bobs around. I definitely recommend you giving this a try when you do get a chance. Again, it's pretty much already uploaded. In my pretty limited touring around today, I didn't see any other really big issue. But yeah, that is pretty much Project Odessey. If anyone else has any other questions, by all means hit us up. And I'll be posting the link as soon as I can after this session. Thank you all for joining. Stick around a little in case anyone has any questions, but otherwise, that's pretty much it for our session. See, the exit button even works. Actually, one other little thing I'll just say as I wait for folks to see if there are any other questions. No worries, Eric. Super happy to do it. There will be another announcement, fairly big one, in maybe the next week or so about another phase that I've been doing in between all of this work and the land fountain. Again, shout out to Spencer for giving a crack at that. A couple other things, or at least one other really big thing I haven't yet announced that I think people will find pretty exciting. So stay tuned on that. As always, you can go to www.futureport82.com. That will give you access to the original download. It will let you access the 360-degree version, also 360.futureport82.com. And I'll probably put this as a separate link up there. Also, the link to the Facebook group and